Good afternoon. Today is the 24th of November 2021. Welcome to the lunchtime news here on TV1 for the News First team. I'm Sanita Senanayaka. We have a packed bulletin lined up for you this afternoon, but first, let's take a look at the headlines. Green light for private sector to import chemical fertilizer. Mishaps of the nano-nitrogen deal revealed.
පළවෙනි 97000 එනකොට අපට දැනුණා මේක මිල පිළිබඳ වැඩි කියලා ප්‍රශ්නයක්. US මිලියන 5.2ක් අඩු වුණා. ඒව කියන්නේ බිලියන 1.7ක් මිල අඩු කරන්න කටයුතු කරා.
Vegetable prices continue to skyrocket. Government to establish a national petroleum and gas company. Healthcare workers to launch a 48-hour trade union action. Several areas to experience showers exceeding 100 millimeters. As it was mentioned in the headlines, Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage announced that permission will be granted to the private sector to import chemical fertilizers, weedicides and pesticides with immediate effect from today. He further said that previous gazette notification issued concerning this will be cancelled.
On the
26th of April 2021, His Excellency the President presented a cabinet paper focusing on taking the country towards a green agriculture. Accordingly, with that cabinet paper, a gazette notification was issued to ban the import on chemical fertilizer, pesticides and weedicides. It has been close to 7 months since this decision was made. Even though farmers were supposed to cultivate in 800,000 hectares of cultivation fields, cultivation activities were carried out in only 650,000 hectares of cultivation land. As a people-friendly government, we decided yesterday to remove the gazette notification issued on the 26th of April. Accordingly, chemical fertilizer, pesticides and weedicides will be allowed to import from today. However, the policy of the government will not change. The private sector will be allowed to import and distribute chemical fertilizer through markets. The government policy will not change. The policy of the government is green agriculture. Distribution of seeds, fertilizer concessions and setting a certified price for paddy technology will all be done under green agriculture. Therefore, the government will do anything possible to provide concessions to ensure green agriculture. Chemical fertilizer will be available in the market.
හරිත කෘෂිකර්මාන්තයේ සඳහා සහනාධාර ඇතුළු සියලු දේ ලබා දෙන්න රජය කටයුතු කරනවා. රසායනික පොහොර විවෘත වෙළඳපොලේ අවශ්‍ය පරිදි ලබා ගන්න අවස්ථාව ලැබිලා තියෙනවා.
Meanwhile, journalists raised questions with regard to the importation of liquid nano-nitrogen fertilizer from India at a higher price.
මේ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ පත්
The responsibilities with regard to the importation of fertilizer to the country is vested with the State Ministry of Agriculture. Every aspect with regard to the tender procedures when importing fertilizer is being carried out by the State Ministry. But even the State Minister is unaware of this. Therefore, he cannot be blamed for this. As the government, we took the necessary steps to import fertilizer from China by the 15th of September. But at the last moment, there were some issues. I am saying all these rely on the information I get from the ministry. The only option we were left with was to import nano-nitrogen fertilizer from India, which is made using the latest technology. We then established technical and negotiation committees and presented a cabinet proposal to import it. The cabinet then made a decision to import it. But when we got the first consignment, we felt that there is a concern with regard to the prices of this product. After we got this information, I personally spoke to the President and requested the importer to visit the Presidential Secretariat. We had a series of discussions at the Secretariat. The Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksha, also attended the meeting. There we informed the importer to reduce the price. Then he agreed to deduct $2.50 from the price for 1 litre. By this, we were able to reduce the cost by $5.2 million, which is approximately around 1.7 billion rupees. All the information we reveal here was supplied to us by the tender committee. However, upon our request to the President, a CID inquiry was launched. The investigations are currently underway. We accept that these prices are high. From our side, we have initiated an investigation into it.
අපිත් පිළිගන්නවා මේ පිළිබඳ අපි පරීක්ෂණයක් පවත්වනවා.
After depriving the farmers of fertilizer for months and reducing the production of the country, the government has now realized that they have made a mistake. Reversing every gazette that is published is the policy of the government. The government reversed the agrochemical fertilizer gazette. This shows the inability of the government. As the Samagi Jana Balawege, we are happy to have contributed to the protests carried out by farmers. We are happy that the government reversed this decision 7 days after we protest. We would like to say that we want this effort.
කරගත්තා අපේ සටනත් ගොවියන් වෙනුවෙන් අපි ජයග්‍රහණය කරා කියලා ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Taking a look at another headline-making story, the amount of vegetable stock supplied to the economic centres in the country has reduced significantly due to the prevailing shortage of vegetables.
A severe shortage of vegetables at the Bandaravilla Vegetable Wholesale Centre was reported today. Traders say that given the limited supply of vegetables to the economic centres, the rate of buyers has also reduced while the prices of vegetables continue to rise. A kilo of cabbage was priced at around 200 rupees, while a kilo of carrot was priced at 270 rupees, and a kilo of beans at around 270 to 300 rupees at the Bandaravilla Economic Centre today. The farming and trading community in Bandaravilla state that due to the fertilizer crisis and the shortage of vegetables, the price of a kilo of vegetable may rise to 1000 rupee by January next year.
Speaking in Parliament, Minister of Agriculture says that vegetable prices normally increase during this time of the year. That's a lie. I think this is the highest amount we have ever paid for a kilo of vegetable. The farmer in the field explains the reason for this hike. He says that they are not cultivating because of the unavailability of fertilizer in the market. Farmers also say that the yield in fields that were cultivated using organic fertilizers is very low. If some are not cultivating and the others who cultivate are getting a very low yield, definitely the supply goes down. When the supply goes down, the demand increases. There is no limit for that now. There is no way that they can come up with a solution without understanding the issue in hand.
Foreign Minister G.L. Pires says research should be conducted on organic fertilizer. This was during the annual research symposium of the Colombo University.
The Colombo University held its annual research symposium yesterday. The theme of the event was impactful research through an interdisciplinary research. Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires attended the event as a chief guest.
Impactful research. What you mean by that phrase is that the research that you undertake in this institution must produce results on the ground. Multidisciplinary research is important in dealing with many of the vexed problems that our country is dealing with today. Take COVID-19. There will have to be research done by virologists, microbiologists, community physicians, all of them working together. Then take the Express Pearl disaster. And here again, there's a critical need for interdisciplinary research. The switchover from chemical to organic fertilizer. There again, there is a need for sustained research which will produce results that can be taken into account by policymakers in the country.
India's acting High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Vinod Jacob, and the Colombo University's Vice Chancellor, Professor Chandrika Vijayaratna, were present.
Taking a look at another headline-making story, Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to establish the National Petroleum and Gas Company. The company is proposed to be established as a subsidiary company of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. The company, which will be set up as a public-private partnership, will be entrusted local natural gas exploration and production with commercial capabilities. Further, it will be entrusted with storing, construction of pipelines, transportation and distribution infrastructure facilities development, ownership and monitoring related to local natural gas exploration and production. In more local news, the Litro Gas Company convened a media briefing today to respond to the public perceptions concerning the exploration of gas cylinders.
There are rumors spreading on social media platforms about the explosion of gas cylinders. Those are all false. This cylinder has the ability to withstand 6 times more pressure than the ones we pump in. In case there's a fluctuation of pressure inside the cylinder possesses a safety relief valve. This valve has the ability to normalize the pressure inside the cylinder. Also, this cylinder connects to a regulator. When it comes to the domestic use of this cylinder, a low pressure will be sufficient to ignite the cooker. The regulation of the pressure needed for it is being done by the regulator. Therefore, there is no chance for the cylinder to explode because of a fluctuation of internal pressure.
මේ සඳහා අපි රෙගියුලේටර් එකක් මගින් මේ පීඩනය අඩු කිරීම සිදු කරනවා. සිලින්ඩරයේ කිසිම අවස්ථාවක පීඩන වෙනසක් වෙලා පිපිරීමකටපත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Views were also expressed on the prevailing gas shortage in the market.
I think the situation is under control. We have received the consignment to carry out the supply without any shortage. Accordingly, necessary steps will be taken by this week to release 800,000 gas cylinders to the market. Our competitor normally issues around 400,000 to 450,000 cylinders of gas to the market monthly. When its supply came to complete standstill, demand for our product increased all of a sudden.
Several trade unions in the health service have launched a 48-hour trade union action, citing several demands at over 1,100 hospitals and 365 MOH offices across the island today. Accordingly, 16 trade unions, including nurses, paramedics and medical officers of health, will engage in the trade union action.
Co-convener of the Federation of Health Professionals, Saman Ratnapriya, said the two-day strike is being conducted over a number of issues, including the lack of promotions and salary anomalies. This was the situation at the Colombo National Hospital.
The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Herath, said that with the rising number of COVID-19 infections in the country, the public should be more vigilant during the upcoming festive season. He said the public should thoroughly follow the health guidelines during the festive season in order to prevent another outbreak of COVID-19.
මේ උත්සව සමයේ රට වහන තැනට රට ගෙනෙන තෙක් බලා ඉඳලා ඊට පස්සේ
Rather than waiting for the country to go for another lockdown during the upcoming festive season, we all should do our best to prevent another outbreak of the virus. We should plan well ahead to face it. The authorities should also come up with a plan to combat this situation. In addition to that, the public should also act in a responsible manner. Rather than waiting till the last moment, public should make sure that there won't be any unnecessary rush when they are doing their shopping during the upcoming festive season. If we follow this, I believe that we don't have to lock down the country during the upcoming festive season.
හැතිරීම වළක්වා ගත්තොත් මම හිතනවා අවසාන මොහොතේ රටවැසීමට තියෙන ඉඩකඩ අපිට අවම කරගන්න පුළුවන්.
මේ කොරෝනා කියන වසංගත තත්ත්වය අවසන් වෙලා නැහැ.
COVID-19 has not ended. It has only been contained. Now the public must be vigilant. The government must focus on containing the COVID-19 situation. The coming holiday season could take the number of infections to a high level. Even now, the number of patients have increased to a certain extent. We would like to inform the health authorities to inform the public regarding COVID-19 and take the necessary steps. We will face problems in the future if we are not prepared.
මෝපායන් දැන්ටත් සලසන්න කියලා. එහෙම සැලසුවේ නැත්නම් මේ පෙර සූදානමක් තිබෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි ඉදිරි අනාගතයේදී ආපහු අමාරුවක වැටෙනවා.
Taking a look at the weather update for this afternoon, the Met Department notes that the prevailing low-level atmospheric disturbance located to the southeast of Sri Lanka is expected to further intensify into a low-pressure area, and it is likely to move west-northwestwards. Heavy showers exceeding 100 millimeters could be expected at some places in the eastern, north central and Uva provinces and in Mullaitivu, Vavuniya and Matali districts. Fairly heavy showers of about 75 millimeters are likely at some places elsewhere in the island. Taking a look at a developing story from yesterday, a Sri Lanka Transport Board bus service from Kurinyankarni to Kenya has commenced from today, bypassing the Kenya Lagoon, where 6 people, including 4 children, died when a ferry capsized.
However, the area residents did not allow the bus to commence operations today. A tense situation arose between the residents and the police.
The authorities have taken swift steps to provide a bus service, as you can see right here, to transport the school children to their respective schools today. Now, the area residents are asking the question, why couldn't the authorities do this earlier so that 6 innocent lives, including the lives of 4 children, could have been saved?
They said they will construct a bridge for over a year, but they still did not do that. But today they have deployed a bus here. They did not deploy a bus here for over a year. That's why this bus was stopped today. We want justice.
The bridge that was constructed in 1977 was washed away due to heavy rains in 2015. The foundation stone was laid to construct a bridge on the 11th of April this year. However, it is yet to begin work. The villagers questioned whether such a tragedy would have taken place today, claiming the lives of 4 children had the bridge been constructed.
Views were expressed at the cabinet meeting in this regard.
Urban
Council and the Pradesh Sabha of Kenya requested permission to operate the ferry. However, the permission was not granted, and that is why an additional cost is incurred and a 3.3 kilometer long road was constructed as an alternative. So the ferry was operating without approval.
State Minister Nimal Lanka spoke about the tragic incident in Kenya in Parliament today.
The villagers of Kenya were inconvenienced for some time now because there wasn't a bridge to cross the lagoon. I chaired the event to begin work on the bridge in April this year. The Provincial Council and the Urban Council decided to use an alternative route which consists of a road spanning over 3.5 kilometers until the construction of the bridge is complete. The Kenya Urban Council requested permission from the Road Development Authority to use a ferry till the construction of the bridge is complete. The RDA refused to give permission as it was not safe. Thereafter, the Kenya Urban Council requested us for the same. We denied it and advised them to use the alternative route. The Kenya Urban Council exploited their power and established a ferry service to cross the lagoon. They haven't provided any preventive measures to ensure the safety of the passengers when using the ferry service. They haven't even provided a life jacket. This is why the people of Kenya had to face that unfortunate incident. The Kenya Urban Council must be held responsible for this. We gave permission to carry out a ferry service on the 14th of July under the agreement that they follow protocol and safety measures. But the Kenya Urban Council does not have the authority to grant permission for a ferry service. The Urban Council chairman is a relation of MP Maharuf. We request the governor to carry out a disciplinary hearing against the Urban Council chairman of Kenya. I very respectfully request the House to carry out a CID investigation to ensure that the people of Kenya receive justice for the wrongdoings that were done to them.
මේ සඳහා අවසර ලබා දුන් නගර සභාවට විරුද්ධව ආණ්ඩුකාරතුමියගේ ඉල්ලනවා මේ සභාපතිතුමාට විරුද්ධව විනය පියවර ගන්න කියන එක එතුමාගේ සභාපති ධූරය අත්හිටවලා අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවෙන් මේ කරපු අපරාධයට විරුද්ධව කටයුතු කරන්නත් කියලා මේ ගරු සභාවෙන් මම ඉතාමත් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
එමතුමා අනිවාර්යෙන්ම මේකට කවුරු හරි
If what Minister Nimal Lanka is saying is accurate, then there is no doubt. The perpetrators must be punished in accordance with the law. State Minister Nimal Lanka visited the area and chaired the event to begin construction of the bridge in April. However, the work has been halted. It has not been completed. It has been a long time and things are at a standstill. However, you yourself said that you authorized the implementation of a ferry service on the 14th of July. 4 months have gone by since then. Whose fault is it that this ferry service has not been established for 4 months? I made a request in Parliament 3 months ago asking to establish a ferry service to the people of this village. We are currently working on establishing the ferry service. Constructing a bridge in the middle of a lagoon is no easy task. It takes time and effort. We must follow protocol. MP Mujiba is trying to take political advantage of this situation. State Minister Nimal Lanka itself told that there was a request made in Parliament for a ferry service for the people of Kenya. The request was made by none other than MP Imran. MP Imran requested a ferry service as an alternative to the 3.5 kilometer road. Now you are trying to pin the blame on MP Imran. That is a shameful act. Many lives have been lost and many lives are still in grave danger. This is my final question to you, State Minister. What measures have you taken to prevent this from happening again? It was your Urban Council chairman that authorized this ferry and put the people's lives in danger. How can you put the blame on me? That's just dirty politics. We will complete the construction of the bridge as soon as possible. We have already advised the RDA as well as the contractors on this.
නොවෙන්න මේ පාලම ඉතා ඉක්මනින් ඉවර කරන්න කියලා අදාළ කොන්ත්‍රාත්කාර මාත්තුන්ටත් අපේ RDA අයටත් අපි ඉතාමත් පැහැදිලි උපදෙස් ලබා දෙනවා.
In more local news, companies from Pakistan and Sri Lanka signed 3 agreements yesterday. This was at the Pakistan-Sri Lanka Business Opportunities Conference.
Sri Lankan and Pakistani companies signed 3 memorandums of understanding yesterday. They were to boost trade on electrical items, pharmaceuticals and education. Trade Minister Bandulu Gunawardena highlighted the importance of utilizing the free trade agreement between the two countries.
The Asian region is becoming the center of global development. The free trade agreement between Sri Lanka and Pakistan has contributed substantially to expand bilateral trade between the two countries. However, utilization rate of our bilateral FTA remain 71% for Sri Lanka and 3% for Pakistan in 2020. This indicates that we need to put more efforts to ensure that the FTA is utilized more effectively.
Pakistani's acting High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Tanveer Ahmed, also expressed similar sentiments.
Unfortunately, our bilateral trade volume does not adequately reflect our long-standing relationship. The government of Pakistan is committed to unlock the immense trade potential with Sri Lanka by proactively engaging in deeper economic cooperation as part of our government's strategic trade policy. We hope that through showcasing Pakistan-Sri Lanka Business Opportunities Conference today would not only help in enhancing the volume of our traditional exports to Sri Lanka, but also make way for joint ventures between Sri Lanka and Pakistan business in various mutually beneficial high potential sectors.
The official song of the LPL T20 cricket tournament has been released. Several popular artists including Bhatyan Santosh, Umaria Singhavansa, Yohani De Silva and Sankat Dinet are a part of this. We leave you this afternoon with this song. For the News First team, I've been Sanita Seranayaka. Take care and stay safe.
Sarasa Lova Makalabana Singhanana